Hi friends, Dr. Tim here. Today we're going to talk about editing a paper, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to edit your papers. So first of all, why do we edit? Number one, correct grammar and spelling is expected. Whether you're in high school, undergraduate, or graduate school, professors expect grammar and spelling to be correct. Second of all, and this is huge for you to understand as a student, poorly written papers agitate professors. Professors are human too, and when you continually see the same mistake made over and over again, and your professor is grading online, it just is frustrating because you're just saying the same thing again and again and again and again. So poorly written papers agitate professors. It also distracts them from the content of the paper. So your grade is going to be negated because one, it was poorly written, and two, they were distracted from the content. So you always want to have good grammar and good spelling. Just for your information, too many students turn in what is effectively a rough draft. That rough draft is not edited, and it is just crazy difficult to read for the professor. It's crazy difficult to grade. And again, you don't want to irritate them. You want to keep them happy. So by having good grammar and good spelling, you have done so. By the way, there's a huge mental approach to writing a paper that is substantially different than writing a text message or even an email when you are a high school, college student. You want everything to be spelled out, eliminate contractions, eliminate, LOL, things like that are sort of acronyms. You really want to spell everything out when possible and be very specific. And you do not want to write in your colloquial language. It needs to be academic. It needs to be sterile, not what you think, unless the paper is an opinion paper as assigned. So understanding the assignment is a huge battle. All right, tip number one, let's get started. Complete your paper in advance. If the paper is due in a week, get it done a couple of days ahead of time, maybe even 3 days ahead of time. I know that's a foreign concept for many undergraduate students or even high school students, maybe even some graduate students, but complete your paper in advance. Sleep on the paper. You get tired, you see things that aren't there, or you don't see things that are there. You need fresh eyes. Fresh eyes help find those mistakes that we were mentioning a moment ago. So tip number one, complete your paper in advance. Tip number two, have a friend read it to proof. Find someone you trust, find someone who is smart, maybe even smarter than you are, and have them proof it. Buy them lunch, buy them dinner, buy them breakfast, buy them a drink, whatever it takes. Have that friend proof it and give you feedback, because they will see things that you do not see, both in content and grammar and spelling, if needed. All right, tip number three, have your computer read your paper to you. Most computers have that capability. Most software does. I'm sure that you can Google how to do that with your specific type of computer and word processing software if you do not already know how to do so. Your ears will sometimes hear things that need editing. Sometimes your mind will play tricks on you. You will add things in mentally as you read through the paper that are not really there. So you may hear those things if your computer reads it out to you aloud. Tip number four, start at the end of the paper and edit each paragraph backwards from the end of the paper to the beginning of the paper. Now, do I mean sentence by sentence? No, not necessarily, but paragraph by paragraph, yes. Okay, for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm going to go to the second point here. More mistakes are made at the end of a paper, usually because you're tired. You have already been writing for an extended period of time and editing and things like that. Your better edits come earlier in the paper typically, and that's just a human mindset. The later part of the paper tends to have more mistakes. So if you start editing from the last paragraph and go in retrograde, it will really help the editing process, and you'll find things there that need to be corrected. And this is a variation on backward chaining, which is not my area of expertise. However, I do use it in education, particularly in teaching music to ensembles. So that's tip number 4. Number 5, use the Writing Center at your university or school to your advantage. Too many students are weak in their writing skills, and they need to use the Writing Center to your advantage. Their edits and your professor's edits will help you become a better writer. So totally do that. But you can't use the Writing Center to your advantage unless you complete your paper well in advance. Later in the semester, when more and more papers are due, the Writing Center tends to get backed up. So you need to have it in and give them a couple of more days than you normally would. Therefore, it is even more important to have that paper completed and submitted to the Writing Center well in advance of the due date. And tip number 6, Purdue OWL. This is OWL, OWL, in case you're messing up with my southern accent, .purdue.edu/OWL. And that will help you so much in writing your paper. They have tips on MLA, APA, Turabian, citations, bibliographies. They have examples of what your paper should look like. If your paper does not look like the paper that's shown on the Purdue OWL site, then you've probably done something incorrectly. So make it look just like that before you turn it in, and that's going to help you substantially. Now, you know, some professors have certain preferences and things of that nature, so they vary from professor to professor depending upon the writing style and things of that nature, but those are not big things. This will help you eliminate the big issues, for example, how to cite things in the appropriate format. So I hope you find this video helpful with some of these just really simple tips, and good luck to you. Have a great day.